What you are about to hear is highly classified.
And welcome back to Zone 4, everybody. I'm Brant Fowler, aka the Gonzo Goose, co-host of the Zone 4 podcast and co-owner of ComicRelated.com. Back with another Marvel Now review, this time with A+X number 3. And if you saw my review of 1 and 2 previously, you know that I was really enjoying this series. The concept is cool. It's a new kind of Marvel teaming Avengers characters with X-Men characters, and the first 2 issues are really good overall. Now this issue I was kind of excited for one of the stories. First of all, the 2 stories involved in this one are a Black Panther and Storm story, which is the lead story, and then a Hawkeye and Gambit story. And I'm actually a big fan of Hawkeye and Gambit, so I was kind of excited to see those 2 team up. And the other story was just okay. I have nothing against those 2 characters. I enjoyed them both when they're in team books. I like Black Panther when he's in Avengers, and I like Storm when she's an X-Men, but solo story-wise, I've just never been able to get into them, or even their stories when they were married. That's just me. So I was just like, okay. So this story, the Black Panther and Storm story, was written by Jason Aaron with art by Pasquale Ferry, colors by Brian Reber, and letters by Clayton Cowles. And this story opens up with a bunch of AIM soldiers who got the idea to attack Wakanda because it's still recovering from Namor's attack on them, so they figured it'd be easy picking, or at least one of them did. And the whole sequence is they're fighting somebody, but you don't see who they're fighting at first. And one of the AIM soldiers is giving the other one crap. He's like, I tried to tell you, there was one thing you forgot to mention, or you didn't think about. And of course they're referring to the Black Panther. They're like, he was like, I brought 10 of our toughest guys, and he's like, that's not enough. And it's like, it's not the Hulk here. But Black Panther takes out all of them with ease. But the pages in that part are beautiful, stunning artwork through and through. It's really fantastic fight scenes, and we see Storm get involved from a distance. Basically, she just electrocutes one, and you see Black Panther look up in the sky, and he knows she's there, but she's not allowed in the country. So anyway, so after the whole battle, it shifts to Black Panther being paraded with all these, and minor spoilers here, being paraded with all these princesses from all over Africa, who, of course, he's had his marriage annulled from Storm, so they're, all these kingdoms are wanting their princesses to marry Black Panther, and he's just not interested, and he's gonna take out. Then it starts raining on the princesses, and obviously it's Storm. So Black Panther takes off and goes to find her, and there's this little exchange between them about the real reasons why they split up and everything. And while they're talking about this, they come across this poacher, and they're going about their conversation all the while they're kicking this poacher's butt, which it's kind of comical. That this guy's just this minor annoyance as they're having their discussion. And it ends kind of hokey, quite frankly, with them racing against each other for old time's sake, and the winner gets to Bora Bora Island. So, it was kind of hokey and cheesy, but it was okay. Through and through, like I said, the story started with some sharp dialogue and some fun, and ended kind of hokey. So the story was okay. The art was fantastic in the beginning, and gradually kind of got muddy and not quite as refined as the early pages. And it's kind of weird because Ferry seemed to change his style when he got past the AIM soldiers and just focused on T'Challa and his people. And it almost felt like he went a little bit over the top with the stylized versions of the people of Africa. And it was just kind of odd because it was a departure from his usual style. And it was just for, past the AIM pages. So it was kind of weird. Just, I don't know, it felt like he was trying a little bit too hard. It did seem kind of like an homage to, I don't know what. Really, I don't know, it was just kind of odd. So all in all, it was an okay story. It was definitely not of the caliber of the previous issues. But I was like, okay, now we get to the story that I wanted to read, which was the Hawkeye and Gambit story, which is written by James Asmus and with art by Billy Tan, colors by Jim I cannot never pronounce this, Charalampidis, and Clayton Cowles again on the lettering. And I'm not too familiar with James Asmus's work. I've seen his name around, so usually in a co-writer or a backup feature kind of thing. So I'm not overly familiar with his work. But I was like, it's Hawkeye and Gambit. Now Billy Tan's artwork, I'm not a huge fan of. His artwork is very sketchy, very has kind of an unfinished look to it most of the time, and it's just not as crisp as I prefer. And throughout this story, it was very up and down, hit and miss with the art. There were a few scenes throughout where Hawkeye, in particular, looked really cool, and this monster that he drew that was the whole impetus for the story, for the team up. It was a weird looking monster, but it was drawn well and everything. And but there were other times where it was just real sketchy and things were just seemed rushed and just that lacked detail and so on and so forth. The story was basically that Gambit was meeting a fence, but it was under false pretenses because the guy just wanted somebody to watch a play with him. What? So they're just sitting there watching a play, and all of a sudden, coincidentally, this monster attacks. So Gambit leaps into action, and there was a cool scene where Gambit picks up a piece of fruit, and he's charging it, and he's about to throw it at this monster, and Hawkeye shoots an arrow through the fruit to hit the monster, and it starts this exchange between them, which was kind of like your classic two good guys meet, fight each other, and then team up kind of thing, only very truncated, and they didn't actually fight. But it was just that banter between them, and it was really clunky, and it was full of cliches and not good ones, and it was just a mess verbally. And you had this girl who was in the play that got kidnapped by the monster. She's cussing left and right. Of course it's with the little dingbat symbols. But it's just, the whole story felt poorly written to me, quite honestly. And it was not exciting. It was not fun. It was not even cheesy. It was just boring. And both of the characters seemed out of character, and for the most part. And Clint, there were a few lines he said that felt like Clint, but for the most part they were just completely out of character and just kind of forced into the story, and it was just not fun. I was really disappointed, and I was probably even more disappointed because these are two characters that I like, and I would love to see them team up properly done. But no, this just was not done well at all. So this issue was a major step down from the previous two, which I gave high marks. I really enjoyed those two issues, and I had high hopes for this series and for this issue, especially for that Hawkeye Gambit story. But no, this one was really downhill. So I'm going to have to give this one a 2 out of 5. It was that bad. Yeah. Sorry. It was just not that good. I would say because this is not, if you're not one of those collectors that has to have every single issue, if you're just buying this for stories that you like, I'd say skip this one. Skip this issue altogether. Unless you're just a huge fan of any of these characters. But if you're a huge fan of like Hawkeye or Gambit, like me, you'll be disappointed with this and you won't want it anyway. So, next issue looks promising because you have Spider-Man and Beast teaming up in one story, and you have Captain America and Kid Omega from Wolverine and the X-Men teaming up in the other, so that should be interesting. I don't know who's writing those or drawing them, but the cover looked cool, so we'll see. Hopefully it'll pick back up next issue, but 2 out of 5 for this one. So that's going to do it for this one. Check out all my other reviews here and the samples of the podcast that we put up on the channel, and check out this week's episode of Zone 4. Check out all the reviews that all of us do over on Dark Adventure Inc., comicrelated.com for all your comic news and podcasts, webcomics, and so much more. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, and thanks for watching.
Swinging on a little thread, shooting spider webs from his hand, shooting spider webs from his hand. Streets of New York City, steps out of New York City, steps out to make a stand. He's Spider-Man.
Gonzo Goose production. This has been a Gonzo Goose production.